.NET is a framework. By using this framework, I can able to execute different kinds of programming language. If I want to store the data or if I want to save the data, I must have some database connectivity, right? For that, I'm going to have the ADO.NET. According to internal plan, for the first unit, first internals, second unit, second internals, and third unit, third internals. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. And in this session, I'm going to discuss the subject called C# and .NET technologies. And this subject is introduced by the Mysuru University for third semester B.Ca student. I'm your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, first grade college, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, here we are going to study about .NET technology, and agenda of this session is learning outcome, number of units, and internal pattern. Along with that, we are going to deal with practical lab and which textbook have to refer. Anyway, dear student, let's see the prerequisites. So dear student, to study this subject, you does not require any prerequisites because we are going to start from the scratch, in the sense what is C# and history, features. Along with that, we are going to discuss how to install the software, what kind of software we require to execute the program which is written using .NET. So dear student, to learn this subject, you does not require any prerequisites. Without any pre-requirement, you can very easily learn .NET. Now, let's discuss the learning outcome. Before going to start learning outcome, let me to discuss what is .NET. Here, .NET is nothing but the C#. I repeat, here .NET is nothing but the C#. It's a programming language. Why we required programming language? Because computer is a machine. It does not understand anything except that zeros and ones. Now, to give the instruction to the computer, we require programming language. And if I consider programming language, we have different kinds of programming languages like low-level programming language, middle-level programming language, and high-level programming language. And this C# programming language falls under high-level programming language. So what is high-level programming language? It looks like English statement, and computer does not understand high-level programming language. Now, I want to convert that into machine-level programming language. For that, I require translator. So here, .NET is a technology, and which programming language I am using? C#. So in single platform, I can able to run different programming language. Here, what is the platform? That is .NET framework. So what is the framework here? .NET. And I can able to run different kinds of programming language like ASP. So what is ASP? Active Server Page. Then C#. Then VB. So what is VB? Visual Basic. .NET. ADO. Active Data Object. net. So what is common here? The common thing here we can able to notice is .net. So what is .net? It's a framework. Now to execute C# program, I require Visual Studio. So what is my software name? Microsoft Visual Studio. So here .NET is a framework. By using this framework, I can able to execute different kinds of programming language. So what is C#? It is a high-level, object-oriented, general-purpose programming language. Now, if you are thorough with C++ or Java, it's very easy to learn and adapt .NET programming because C++ and Java both falls under object-oriented programming language. Now, .NET uses the features of C++ and Java. So, if you know little bit about C++ or Java, then it is very easy to learn .NET. Otherwise, without any basic knowledge, you can very easily learn .NET programming language. Now, let's discuss the learning outcome. So, dear student, I said .NET is nothing but the object-oriented programming. So, what is object-oriented? See here, object-oriented in the sense what? We are going to represent real-world problems in terms of objects and classes. Anyway, in my today's introduction class, I won't discuss what is class, what is object. Because in my upcoming classes, I'm going to deal with what is object, what is class, how to create a class, how to create an object, all those things. So, dear student, at present, I'm just going to discuss learning outcome, that is describe object-oriented programming concept. In the sense, at the end of the semester, you are familiar with what is class, what is object, how to create a class, how to create an object, how to invoke the method, how to create a method, how to access the data members, what is inheritance, what is polymorphism. All those things we are going to study in depth in this subject. So, you are familiar with all this concept at the end of the semester. And you also able to develop your own website. See here, .NET is mainly used to develop website. That is nothing but the collection of web page. To design, to create web page, the most commonly used programming language is .NET. So, it interprets and develops interfaces for real-time application. Along with that, it allows the user to build custom collections as well as generics in C#. These are the certain learning outcome of this subject. Okay, fine. So, at the end of the semester, you are thorough with how to create a website. Okay, not only website, you are thorough with how to create standalone application, how to create Windows form, how to create console application, how to develop scientific as well as mathematical applications along with gaming. So, these are the certain learning outcome of this subject. Okay, fine. If I consider the number of units comes under the subject, that is only 3 units. So, entire subject includes only 3 units. So if I consider first unit, this first unit includes 2 chapters. How many chapter comes under unit 1? Only 2 chapter. See here, that is introduction to .NET technologies, along with that introduction to C#. So as I told you that using .NET technology, we can able to develop website. So what is website? Website is nothing but the collection of web pages. See here, introduction to web technology. Okay, fine. If I want to create any website, there are 2 kind of website. One is dynamic and another one is static. If I go with static website, then I'm using HTML. So what is HTML? Hypertext Markup Language. By using HTML, I'm going to create static web page. And if I want to create dynamic web page, then I'm going to use .NET. Along with that, we are going to discuss advantages and disadvantages of client-side script as well as server-side script. Okay, so how we can able to make 2 computers to communicate each other. For that, I want to write the program. So if I write the program and if I run that program in same machine, okay, then it is known as client side. Okay, so I'm going to write the program in that particular machine. Okay, and I'm going to run that program. So here we are going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of client side as well as server side scripting. Along with that, we are going to discuss the overview of client side technologies and server side technologies. In the sense what? Which are the different kinds of technology falls under client side as well as server side. Along with that, if I consider second chapter, I have overview of C#. So what is C#? It's a programming language. It's a programming language. So if I consider human have certain body parts, here also if I want to write any program, I must include small things. So by using the smallest unit, I can able to write the program. So if I want to write the C# program, then I must have the literals. Without literals, is it possible to write the programming language? No. And I must have the variables. I must have the data types. Along with that, I must have the operators and expressions. Okay, fine. If I have literals, variables, data types and operators, is that is enough? No. Because I want to control the flow of the program. I want to make the decision. For that, I'm going to have the control statements. Along with that, I'm going to have the methods, arrays, strings, structures and enumeration. So these are the 2 chapters falls under unit 1. Okay, fine. If I consider second unit, under second unit, what are the different topic we have? That is, see, I said C# is nothing but the object-oriented programming language. When I say it is object-oriented programming language, when I have the features like class, object, along with that polymorphism, interface, okay, then only I can able to tell these are the features of OOPS. So as we know that C# is nothing but the object-oriented programming language. When I say it is object-oriented programming language, what are the characters I must have? That is class, object, interface, polymorphism, inheritance, operator, overloading, delegates, events, errors and exception. So these are the certain topic comes under chapter 1, that is OOPS with C hash. Okay, fine. If I consider second chapter, it is VB.NET. I told you that .NET is nothing but the framework. So I'm going to have single platform. It supports the user to write and execute different programming language. In that, one is C# and another one is VB.NET. So what is VB? V stands for visual, B stands for basic, .NET. Okay, fine. In this chapter, we are learning what is docking and what is undocking, placing, resizing, Windows form, Windows property, how to use the components like label, text box, text field, all those things we are going to learn in depth in our second chapter. So what is the chapter name here? Introduction to VB.NET. Okay, fine. If I consider third unit, this unit is more interesting than first and second one, because here we are going to study how to connect the database, what kind of database we have, all those things we are going to study in our third unit. And this third unit further divided into two chapters, that is application development on .NET, along with that ADO.NET connectivity. So how we can able to create Windows form by using .NET, and that is how we can able to work with the controls like button, text box, radio button. Okay, all those things we are going to study. At the same time, timers, pictures, group box, combo box. So these are the certain things we are going to study in our application development on .NET. So these are the certain component. So here component is nothing but the controls used to design Windows application by using .NET framework. Along with that, see, I have ADO, Active Data Object .NET. See here, by using .NET, I can able to design the front end. Okay, fine. If I want to store the data or if I want to save the data, I must have some database connectivity, right? For that, I'm going to have the ADO.NET. So to connect front end and back end, I'm going to have the ADO.NET. So here we are going to have introduction to ADO.NET. That is, what is ADO versus ADO.NET architecture. Under architecture, we have different components like data reader, what is the responsibility and job of data reader, what is data adapter, accessing with data, that is accessing data with the ADO.NET programming. All those things we are going to study in our second chapter. So dear student, if I consider this subject, how many units? 3 units, and each unit is further divided into two chapters. Okay, fine. Now, till now we discussed what is .NET and what are the different units and what are the different topic comes under .NET technology. Okay, fine. Now, if I consider internal, okay, how many internal I can have for the subject? That is 3. So, according to internal plan, for the first unit, first internals, second unit, second internals, and third unit, third internals. Okay, fine. And what is the marks allotted for each internals? That is 30 marks. Okay, fine. Now, the question arises. how I'm going to finalize the marks? That is, see, how many internals? 3 internals. Is it best of 3? No, it's average of 2. In 3, okay, I'm going to consider best 2, okay, and I'm going to take the average of that 2. So that is your final marks. Okay, fine. If I consider question paper pattern, yeah, it is 60 marks paper. How many marks? 60 marks. It is theory paper. Okay, as I told you, it is theory as well as practical. At present, I am discussing theory paper, that is final exam question paper pattern. See here, what is the marks allotted? 60 marks, and that 60 marks is further divided into part A and part B. Okay, fine. And how many units we have here? 3 units. So from each unit, you can expect 15 marks. From each unit for part A, you can expect 15 marks. 15 into 3, 45. And for part B, okay, from all 3 units, I am getting how many questions? 5 questions. Okay, fine. Out of 5, how many questions you need to answer? 3. And each question carries how much? 5 marks. So 5 into 3, it is 15. So 45 plus 15, what is my total marks? It is 60. So this theory paper is only for 60. Okay, fine. I told you that it's a practical subject. Theory, you have theory part as well as practical. Okay, fine. If I consider practical, that is practical lab, it's only for 25 marks. And you may ask me the questions like, how many programs can we have in this practical lab? That is 10. So how many program? 10 program. Okay, so see here, out of 10 program, you have to pick any 2. In the sense what? You're going to get 2 questions. You have to write 2 questions and you have to execute any one. So writing and execution carries 20 marks. Okay, at the same time, you have to maintain the record for this lab program, and record carries 3 marks. Okay, fine. Now, for this subject, we have theory as well as practical. So, you have Viva. Okay, Viva carries 2 marks by adding 20 plus 3 plus 2. So, what is my final marks? That is 25 marks. Okay, fine. Now, if I want to master in this subject, which book or which Bible I want to refer? So, dear student, according to me, it's better to go with the first textbook, that is Programming in C# by E. Balaguru Swami. So, very simple concept. All the concepts are explained in very simple way. So, it's better to go with the first book, that is Programming in C# by E. Balaguru Swami. And for the further knowledge, you can refer visualbasic.net by Sirish Chavan. Okay, and you have to refer the 3rd edition. So, these are the 2 Bible you have to refer. So, dear student, in this session, I just started only about the introduction about .NET technology. And In my next session, I'm going to start with Unit 1. So, I'm going to discuss in depth about the .NET technology. Anyway, dear student, thank you for watching my videos and thank you for supporting my videos. Thank you.